it's recording.
I
Yes.
can see. Yeah.
I'm gonna do a presentation in Portuguese. It'd be like just for the video, then I do in English. Então, hoje estamos com a Sophie, a diretora do filme que a gente exibe esse mês. A Sophie vai falar um pouco sobre o processo do filme pra gente. So first, Sophie, thank you for your time and being here. It's a great pleasure to be screening this film. I want to start, then you do a small presentation of the film, of the main crew and the actors and everything, and the film history in terms of like where did it had it premiere and everything, the festivals it was going to through.
You mean like I should give the presentation? No.
Yes, because
but
we're gonna use this in Instagram after, and it's nice because I am from the festival, so it's nicer when the other person do like, oh, my film is called this, and like,
Yes, yes. Yeah, I feel very honored actually that my film Nina in a Series of Encounters is yeah, broadcasted on your platform. It's really nice. It's my first time outside of Europe, I think, that my film is going to be shown. And yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, I've been to some festivals in Austria and Germany, and also Indie Lisboa, where we met also. And I don't know. I talked a lot about the film, so now it's a bit difficult to find new words, but maybe it's not necessary. I think it's a film about friendship and longing, and I think in the last couple of weeks also I realized that those two things are the main themes of my life right now, or like which I'm interested in. And yes, so I'm really excited and curious to hear also like how the audience is gonna receive it. Yes, so I don't know if that's enough.
we are trying to build a bridge between the Brazilian audience because the platform mainly for the Brazilian audience. That's the reason we do this kind of context of the film with a text, and also the textual interview, which is you sharing some materials that had or not influenced you during the process. Because our idea is to make this Brazilian audience realize there is like some kind of connections between the independent cinema outside Brazil and the Brazilian cinema in terms of like the same kind of difficulties and mainly working in an independent way. So I'm very curious, and I think people are curious too, to know how this project started. And you can be very like prestigious in terms of like, did you got some funding and how was with the crew? It was like a big crew or a small one? How was your connection with the actors? How did you find this actress? So how the process went?
Yes. So it like I come from documentary film originally, so there are like a lot of like there is a lot of documentary. There's a documentary approach to my film as well, and it's been like it was my first fiction short, so it was an adventure for me to do it. And as I'm used to work like almost alone usually, like when I did my documentary films, it was really like myself or like another person. So it was really overwhelming to film in a team, and the team was still quite small. So it was a really, really small team. I wanted it that way because it's more intimate, but also because I wanted to be free and flexible and changing locations. We had a very small camera as well, and which is mainly because of the look and the texture, which I love, a video cam, but also, yeah, because you're more, yeah, the technical part of the whole making is not so, how do you say, like, it doesn't take up so much of your time. And yes, I think like the start of the project, like it was like two strands. It was my documenting of the construction sites in Berlin behind the main station, which is a huge construction site and very controversial because it's only like there are office buildings and buildings for rich people being built, and no social housing at all. And it's really absurd because the city needs different kind of buildings. And I documented it like for the last couple of years. And parallel to that, I collected fragments of situations and dialogues and feelings and stuff that I struggled with. And so my protagonist Nina like evolved out of these fictional fragments, and then I had like this huge archive of documentary material, and somehow I felt that those two belong together in a way, because it's, I don't know, about the lack of longing and the longing inside of a person. And so it was clear that I wanted to shoot the fictional part, so it was, my shoot only like consisted of the fictional part. The rest I already had actually, and yeah, and then I combined those two strands, and this is how the film got together. I think it's I always call myself a collector of fragments, and I think in a way the film is a proof of that, because it's how it came together. And yeah, money is a good a good a word. It's been quite a ride to find like some sponsors and some fundings for this film, but eventually I got some funding from Austria. But it's, yeah, I had to submit 3 times, and it was really yeah, I fought for it like a year, I think, and then I got some money and I could pay some of my yeah, the people that work with me, which was very, very good. But yeah, but it was very difficult. And I think actually after that experience, now I don't know, I have doubts if I, you know, like sometimes it's, you are more free if you don't have the money. And I mean, of course, I want to pay people and I need money myself. But it's been such a ride, and I did the production all by myself. And I think maybe it would have been easier just to do it with the small team, the small camera, everything, and not having the whole funding side as well. But I don't know. I mean, but I live from that money as well. So it's, you know, it's ambivalent as usual. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking here because, like in Brazil, when you need to like to apply to a funding or something, you need to have like a very hardcore project in terms like you need to have like the full script and the locations and everything. And sometimes you have like less space of like building the film during the process. And this is the thing I'm curious about. When you applied to this Austrian fund, did you had like a full script? And from the beginning of your film, did you had like the entire script, the talks? Because you say there is like a fiction part of it, but this fiction is very realistic in terms of like, it gives me a sense of approaching the kind of problems a person who is like a young person living in Berlin can have if she is not from like a rich background and everything. So first, how was the beginning of the process? What you had like before starting shooting, and how did you build this kind of realistic approach to fiction in your film?
Yeah, in terms of fundings, I think this was a crucial part of my fight with the fundings, because I had, like, I wrote a script, and there I implemented also the documentary parts as like a montage, but for the fictional parts, I wrote scenes. I mean, there are scenes in the film which are like very precisely written, and there's no improvisation. But there is also like this very long scene with the group, and it's improvised. I would say like half of it is improvised, and the rest is written. And it was very difficult to write a script that would show like give an impression of how I imagine it to be, and still be open, and you know, like for the things that's gonna happen like during the shoot. And it was very difficult to convince people from the funding that it's an interesting scene. It was one of the crucial parts. So I tried to write how do you say, like a skeleton of how this situation should evolve. And yeah, I got some negative feedback that it's too cliche or too whatever, I don't know. So there were lots of things, and I always like insisted on, yeah, but this is like still, it's only, you know, like a very loose fragment, and there's coming more to it because you know, like the actors and everyone, they will fill it up with life. And yeah, this was very hard actually. It worked out in the end, but it was quite difficult. But I had a script, and actually I think in the editing process, it was like there were some versions which were completely different to the script, but in the end, like it was again like I imagined it from the beginning. So this was interesting for me. But yeah, so I had a script. I tried to prepare it as precisely as possible because they needed like something like that. And yeah, but then on set, I mean, we took like for the long scene, for the group scene, which is the most improvised. The other scenes are, as I said, very precisely written. We took 2 full days of rehearsal, and I rehearsed the dialogue I've written with them, and we discovered like all together like what is working and what is not working, and then we repeated, I think, like a certain version after the second day several times, and this was the version then that was filmed. But I think still in the filming, still there's like, I think like there's been some changes. I mean, it was always a bit flexible, which I loved. So it was very interesting also because I think it's about 10 takes or so, the long scene, and it's like always I always like it. I think like it went for 14 minutes or so, and each time it was a little bit different, and it was really nice to watch. Also very exhausting, also of course, but very nice because they came up with different things for each take still, and yeah.
You did the editing by yourself, or you work with another editor?
I did the editing by myself, yes. Yeah. Like editing is one of my most favorite parts of filmmaking, and so I'm really always looking forward to it. And I can imagine with a bigger project, I would need some assistance and help. And of course, I showed it to people that I like, you know, and that I also artistically, and they gave me feedback. But yeah, I edited it by myself, and yeah, I think I will continue doing this like as long as I as I can.
And
Yeah.
since you have a poster of Gloria by John Cassavetes, which is a film about like an encounter, and I think the whole filmography of Cassavetes is about it. He's a collaboration with Gina Holland, yes. And your film have this too, because you have an actress who is the body of this kind of tensions and contradictions. I think she like embodied the problems of the city as well, even being a person from outside Berlin. So how was this encounter? How you met this actress, and how did you work it with her?
I met her before she even studied acting. She was very, very young. And I met her through a colleague, I think. He worked with her for a completely different project. And we met in private, like, because there was some kind of gathering in a park or something like that. And I wasn't like even casting. I wasn't like, I hadn't even started to write the script or anything. It was, we just met, and I was immediately like amazed by her, I don't know, her enthusiasm, I think, and her very honest and sincere radiance. I don't know, it was really special, I think, for her age also. I've never like met someone like that before, and she was so interested in so many things, and so, but she meant it. It was like she was so true to herself in a way. And then I thought like, oh wow, okay, this is very interesting, and I kept her in mind. And then I started writing, and then very early in the process I thought, I have to cast her, I have to choose her. And because it's like this, yeah, it's, as you said, like she carries this promise of Berlin, but also like this not really being naive, but very, very pure and warm-hearted, and which is, which is very different to what you experience when you move to Berlin and how many people treat you, actually. And so I thought this is an interesting contrast. And then we worked together, and afterwards, I think shortly afterwards, she was accepted at an acting school in Berlin at Ernst Busch, and now she's studying there. And
Sophie, what about your past projects, your past films? Where we can watch it? Where is available in the internet? Where people can find your other films?
I think right now it's not possible to watch it outside of Austria, actually, unfortunately. Like I have two, it's like a more experimental documentary films, and they were screened at many festivals and also won a prize, but it's an Austrian streaming platform, which has them online still, I think, in a double feature. And it's also like you don't have to pay for it, actually. You just have to, how do you say, to borrow it, or I don't know. And but I think it's not, maybe, I mean, it's the Kino VOD platform. Maybe you can hack it.
Yeah, but can use like a VPN, or better than this, travel to Vienna and watch it as part of the
Exactly.
travel. Yeah.
Please travel to Vienna or to like any place in Austria to watch my films. That would be an honor. That would be very nice. Yes,
And
yes.
as a last question, how about like next projects by yourself, or next films you are collaborating with the process?
Yeah, actually, I have two films in the pipeline, and I'm always like I always planned to do like another short, but somehow like it happened that now I have two long film projects, and now I have to find like money and people who want to film it with me. But yes, so there are two, and I'm for the one, like it's a finished script, and I'm waiting for funding, or like for feedback of a funding place. I cannot tell anything else about it right now. And the other thing, I just finished this treatment, and also applying for script funding. Actually, today is the deadline, so I have to continue doing this when finishing this talk. Yes, so there are two projects very different from each other. One is more like a coming of age film, a friendship between the two Tyrolean teenage boys, and the other is about a female protagonist. It's maybe like a bit of a I don't know, it's not, maybe it's similar to Nina, actually. Maybe it's Nina 15 years older, and having another very difficult challenge to face in her life, and how she will deal with it, and also how she will deal with it together with the people who support her, which are, again, the right friends or not the right friends. And so it's maybe this project and Nina maybe connect to each other in a way. I keep thinking, and I think it's a nice way to think about it. I don't know. You will see in a couple of years, or maybe hopefully earlier. Yes.
Yeah, perhaps in the festival or in the online platform. In the festival would be better. So, Sophie, ending this interview, thank you, and thanks for everyone who is watching it. The film will be available on the platform, and after this, I guess, will be available on internet. So, I wish you a nice online screening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really happy you screening my film, and happy screening, and hope to see you soon.